Welcome to Young Patriots.
Emergency meetings are being arranged in Western capitals, and they are not about tariffs. They are about factories being shut down because they cannot get raw materials. Stock markets from London to New York are flashing red. Commodity traders are scrambling. Factories in Germany, France, and the United States are staring at supply chains suddenly running dry. Well, for decades, the West assumed Africa's resources would always flow like an endless river, that they will be cheap, raw, and compliant. But that illusion just shattered. 10 African nations, in rapid succession, have slammed the brakes on raw material exports. Uranium, gold, lithium, coffee, cocoa, timber, and chrome, which are essential for global industry, are no longer guaranteed shipments to Western ports. It is not Africa trembling this time. It is the West. Energy grids in Europe, tech giants in Silicon Valley, and automakers in Detroit now face a nightmare. Their invisible dependence on Africa is suddenly, brutally visible. The question that rattles through every boardroom and government hall is simple, chilling, and impossible to ignore. What really happened, and what should we do? In this video, let's find out. Number 10. Namibia. Lithium is to the 21st century what oil was to the 20th. Without it, there are no electric vehicles, no smartphones, no renewable energy batteries. It's the heartbeat of the so-called green economy, and Namibia just put its foot down. In 2023, the government announced restrictions on the export of unprocessed critical minerals, with lithium at the center. The rule was simple but revolutionary. If foreign companies wanted Namibia's lithium, they could no longer ship it raw. They had to refine, process, or partner inside Namibia. This move cut straight into the global supply chain. Automakers like Tesla and Volkswagen, along with battery giants in Europe and Asia, suddenly had a choice: either invest directly in Namibian facilities or scramble for alternative supplies that are increasingly scarce. What Namibia did was turn the tables. Instead of being a passive supplier, it became a gatekeeper of green energy. But the significance goes further. Western governments often preach sustainability, fairness, and green transitions. Yet when Namibia demanded that its people should share in the wealth of lithium, panic spread in corporate boardrooms. The hypocrisy was exposed. It's fine to talk about a green future, but not if Africans insist on keeping a bigger share of it. Namibia didn't flinch. Its leaders understood that lithium wasn't just a mineral. It was leverage, a tool to demand investment, jobs, and industrialization at home. By drawing a line, Namibia is ensuring that the shift to electric vehicles and renewable energy won't be another chapter of Africa giving away wealth while others cash in. Instead, Namibia is shaping itself as a partner, not a pawn. And the West now has to play by Namibia's rules. Number 9. Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast produces nearly 40% of the world's cocoa. Every chocolate bar, from Hershey's to Ferrero Rocher, has roots in Ivorian soil. And yet, for decades, the country earned pennies compared to the billions raked in by Western chocolate companies. This was the cruel paradox. The nation that grew the beans remained one of the poorest links in the chain. But that era is ending. Ivory Coast recently restricted raw cocoa exports and began investing heavily in local chocolate manufacturing. The government's aim is crystal clear: to move up the value chain. Instead of sending off beans and importing back expensive chocolate, the country wants to roast, grind, and process locally. That way, jobs are created, industries built, and more of the profits stay in Abidjan instead of flowing to Zurich or Brussels. The ripple effects are immediate. Multinational chocolate companies now face an uncomfortable choice: partner with the Ivory Coast and invest locally, or lose their easy access to cheap raw cocoa. Either way, they can no longer take the Ivory Coast's resources for granted. Beyond economics, this is about respect. Why should Ivorians, who grow the majority of the world's cocoa, be excluded from the wealth of the chocolate industry? Why should the farmers who supply the raw ingredients stay poor while glossy ads in the West portray chocolate as a symbol of luxury and happiness? Ivory Coast's move isn't just a trade policy. It's a moral correction. Africa is no longer the sweet tooth of the world. It's rising as a chocolate power in its own right. Number 8. Congo. If lithium is the blood of the green economy, then cobalt is its spine. Without cobalt, there are no high-performance batteries, no smartphones, no electric cars. And the Democratic Republic of Congo holds over 70% of the world's reserves. For years, global tech giants quietly depended on Congolese mines to keep their products alive. Apple's iPhones, Tesla's batteries, Samsung's electronics, all of them trace back to Congolese earth. But here's the tragedy. Congo remained poor. Raw cobalt and copper were dug out and exported at low prices, then processed in China or Europe, where the real profits were made. Communities near mines saw pollution and exploitation, not prosperity. That's changing. The DRC has imposed new restrictions requiring companies to process more of its minerals inside the country. No more raw shipments without added value. For Western and Asian companies, this is a nightmare. Their costs rise, their control shrinks, and they are forced to either build plants in Congo or pay a steep premium. For the DRC, it is nothing less than justice. Why should one of the most resource-rich countries in the world remain poor while the West and Asia get rich off its minerals? By flexing its cobalt dominance, Congo is repositioning itself not as a supplier, but as a central player in the global tech and energy economy. The symbolism is powerful. The very devices and cars that symbolize modern life now depend on Congo's terms.
The heartbeat of
Thank you
African
for standing with
resistance.
us,
We bring you raw,
for standing with the
unfiltered
truth,
updates on
and for
Ibrahim
standing
Traoré,
with President
President of
Ibrahim
Burkina
Traoré.
Faso,
In these
the
trying
man
times,
challenging the
your
global
voice
system.
is powerful.
If you believe
Don't
in
just
truth,
watch, be
power,
part of the
and a
movement.
rising Africa,
Subscribe to
this
stay
is your home.
updated. Share
Subscribe
to
now.
awaken others.
Stand tall.
And head to the
Stay
comment
woke.
section.
Young
Tell us how you
patriots,
feel,
where
what you
revolution
believe,
lives.
and what Africa means to you. Together we are louder. Together we are stronger. This is Young Patriots TV, and you are the heartbeat of the mission. Thank you.